Jim, Uncle Jim, misdirecting us all, directing us all in this whole ABK thing, just trying to confuse us all, rally behind it, fighting against this evil Phil Spencer. And all along, you was making us a new handheld console. Going screwed. What's going on?
What have you done?
It's all right. It's all good. It's all good. I pushed the wrong button, but we love you, Jim. You naughty little minx, you. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the PSN Party Podcast, episode 17, over on the XBN Network YouTube channel. I am your host this evening, the Destiny playing, Marvel snapping, clicking heads, ripping them to shreds, BMG. And I am joined, as always, by the $70 game buying, game reviewing, the American soldier, SSG Sentinel. Good evening.
What's up?
I'm good, my friend. How are you? How are you feeling? How are you in yourself?
I'm good. Thank you. It's exceptional to be on this show, especially when we have Ash and, of course, the always phenomenal Luke Steele. Amazing. Great panel, definitely.
Yeah. Have you been to the fields to kick any ponies today, or no?
No, I'm just letting the ponies run today. They're running wild on Twitter, so it's all good.
Good. And we are also joined by the ghost-busting, also game-reviewing, OG Games ambassador. I'm a BaldManGamer. How are you this evening?
Yeah, really good. Apart from my internet is terrible. I'm in the back room tonight, and so I'm on Wi-Fi and stuff away from my router, and every now and again it just goes no. So if I freeze up, I apologise, people. But yeah, glad to be here, ready to talk about your uncle and how he's having it off in a biscuit tin with Rosie. But yeah, really good. Rosie and Jim. You ever watch Rosie and Jim?
Rosie and Jim?
Yeah. Google it.
No.
It's got a great song about them having it off in a biscuit tin. It's amazing. Kids TV show.
Right, okay. A kids TV show about two people having it off in a bin.
Two of the creepiest puppets you will ever see in your life. Like that, kids have nightmares. Like I'm surprised there isn't a horror film where it's those two puppets hunting kids down. Like so bad.
Like that Winnie the Pooh horror film where Piglet and Pooh go murder everyone.
I've got that. I'm waiting to watch that. I might watch it this weekend.
Oh
yeah.
See, there we go. Crazy. Someone with class. Look. There we go. Someone knows what I'm on about. Every time you say Jim, though, that's what I think of.
Chugging on the old ragdoll. Yeah, this sounds all dodgy stuff. Dodgy. And tonight's guest, who is a regular on the PSN Party Podcast, is the M&A guru, the PC Master Race playing 1,000 frames per second monitor, whatever, Luke Steele. Good evening,
Hello.
sir.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that show was something. So thank you for that. No, great to be here as usual. Just part of the furniture now, I suppose, in some ways. Been here that often. But yeah, it's been a cool few days for news, hasn't it? So there's actually quite a lot of stuff to talk about.
There is on the PlayStation side, which makes a change because there's been naffle for weeks.
Yeah.
You know, literally, I'm there calling Jim, got my hands out saying, please, sir, can I have some more? You know, just trying to get a little bit of information. It's just nothing. He's just not playing the game. But we got some news today about a new handheld, but we will get into all that in just a little bit. But beforehand, what has everybody been playing? Luke, I'll come to you first. What have you been playing?
Yeah, I've been playing mostly Resident Evil 4 still. I think I'm about halfway into that. Still love it. I think it's incredible. Yeah, just a really, really, really cool remake. I just really like the changes that they've made. They've not strayed too far from the original, but they have introduced stuff and changed it up enough that it's like really, it's surprising even for someone who's played the old game a number of times. So that's been really cool. So we're playing that. I'm still chugging my way through Dead Space Remake as well, which is another great game. That got put on pause for a bit because I think the Diablo 4 beta hit, and I was just consumed by that. And then I've been mopping up some like side quests and stuff on Horizon Forbidden West, just because the expansion's coming out in 2 weeks, I think, something like that. So wanted to just jump back into that and enjoy it. And yeah, I really love that game. And it's also still the best looking game that's been released this generation across anything that I've played. So looks amazing. So I can't wait to see what the PS5 only DLC will be like. With its clouds, its big clouds. They did a blog post about their big clouds. Looks like some sexy clouds coming up.
Yeah, oh yeah. So don't you worry. PlayStation's cloud is going to put Xboxes to shame in 30 years' time. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. What about The Last of Us Part 1 on PC? Did you pick that up?
No, I did. It's a good thing I didn't pick it up based on the feed. In fact, actually, I would have been one of the only people, just because of my rig, who would have had a good experience, I suppose, because anybody who doesn't have basically a 4090 is fucked if they get that game on PC. So, yeah, I was tempted, but I was like, no, I've only like not too long ago replayed it. So I'll just stick to the PS5 version, which oddly enough is like, as I say, unless you've got a PS5, unless you've got like a 4090 or a 4080, it's probably still the best version because, until they patch up the PC version, it's just not very good. So,
this game was made for PlayStation. They made this
deliberate
poor
sabotage so they can justify keeping it all on PlayStation.
Didn't have that sweet PS5 only SSD that they don't make.
That was it. That was
to run it at
issue.
that smooth frame rate. Clearly,
that was the issue.
It. So all you PC Master Race suckers out there, jokes on you. Get a PlayStation 5. Don't be poor.
It's all a big ploy. That's what it is. It's just to drive PC players to PlayStation 5.
Yeah, Uncle Jim knows what he's doing.
I don't think it's that. It's just all those PlayStation fans that are crying that they're putting it on PC. They're now celebrating like this is what. See, you've got.
Yeah, I know it's really weird.
They've kneecapped it at launch just to appease those weird, noisy.
You know what? I get it though, because PC gamers have like 50,000 games that are not on PlayStation, so they're like, that's not fair. The one game they love and hold up, it goes to PC, and they're like, no, we don't want to share with you. So I completely get it.
Yeah, but then you have other people who are like other weird PlayStation fans that are like, oh, I'm glad it's not, it's like such a poor port because it kind of justifies that they should stop releasing games on PC. And I'm like, well, they're not going to. Like, it's a bad port. They've had mostly good ports up to now. There's been one or two that haven't been amazing, but it's what it is. It was still seemingly sold very well on Steam, at least for the first couple of days. It's probably dropped off a bit now. But,
yeah.
I heard a rumor that Jim Ryan went down to Naughty Dog and teabagged Neil Druckmann, saying, "You will make this a bad port. You will make it this bad port. Let's show PlayStation has no limits. Not this PC."
Well, you need to tell
rubbish.
this handheld, don't they?
I wonder.
You know what? He didn't have to go down to Naughty Dog. He just had to go under his desk where Neil Druckmann is all the time anyway.
Oh yeah. Oh, let me get my mouse and my keyboard, and let me play Minesweeper and push the buttons QWERTY so I can go left, right, up and down, and let me do my spreadsheets. I need to do my spreadsheets. Focus, people. Get rid of them PCs. You do not need them. Greatness has a console where everything
And it's
works
Xbox.
fine.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Sentinel, I can push the... Watch this. This 10 magic wand. Boom. Look at that. Look at that. Already reappeared.
Wow. Damn, gonna fire me from the PlayStation show.
good.
Wow. That's messed up.
Like you deserve.
Well, that's it.
I know, right?
That's it. Back to your bridge, you evil troll. You have no place here. Anyway, Sentinel, since we're talking to you, sadly, what have you been playing? I love you.
Actually, we've been playing Resident Evil 4 Remake. I haven't been playing it on PlayStation, though. I've been playing it on Xbox, but, you know. It's all good. I know. Hey, I am going to play that new game, though. It is in my lineup. Me and Ash were talking about it. The new, starts with a T. It's like Tachia or something.
Chai.
Oh yeah, I've been playing that as
Chai.
well. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I saw that, and it looks interesting. It has a beautiful graphic, you know, like an art style, and of course, it's open world. It's you can say it's geared more towards a younger audience, but there's so many games that you could say that about, but you still have, you know, average, mature gamers that are playing it as well, just because it looks like a fun experience. You know?
Yeah, I was going to say it's definitely not for a younger audience, that game, for two reasons, which is one, the navigation on that game requires you to actually judge where you are in the world. You can't like put markers or anything like that. And the world is huge.
Right.
So a young person would be like, I don't know where the fuck I am or where I'm going because they can't read a compass, right?
Yeah.
So there's that.
Was the nudity.
And the second was all the sex, yeah. So
Oh, right. Well, you know.
no, there are some quite weirdly unsettling things in that game. Nothing too graphic, but there are some. It's quite adult, I'd say, in some ways. It's great though. It's a really beautiful game and really beautiful. But the only annoying thing is it runs at 1080p 60.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad they've got 60 FPS mode because they didn't have one at launch, but 1080p.
Yeah.
Knob now with that PC, aren't you? You're like,
I know. What? It's not even that. I've got 4K TVs. Like I just don't want 1080p anymore.
Yeah.
It looks
true.
nice. It looks really nice.
It's like when you pay for the next tier up on Netflix, you never want to go down. It just looks like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, and it's kind of like why are these console makers, and it's not just PlayStation, Xbox too, talking about 8K when you're not even doing 4K in every game. It's like it's like 8K needs to leave your mouth. You know, and fucking stay out of your mouth.
I still
and
don't
not
get
ever come
the
back.
balls to slap 8K on a PS5 box, like.
It plays it through Blu-ray.
Listen to your music in 8K. It's like, oh Jesus, are you serious?
They're just ahead of the time. That's what it is. PlayStation ahead of the time. All I can say is get an 8K TV. Stop complaining.
Yeah. It'll say this image cannot be displayed. Oh.
No. Ooh. So how are you finding the Resident Evil 4 remake? Does it live up to the hype that everyone's put into it? Is there much changes from the original?
Yeah. And I know, and me and you have gone around and around before about this, but it's a proper remake. Not unlike some, you know, but it's a proper remake because there's so much that's rebuilt. The enemies are actually a lot harder in this than they were in the original version, because in the original version, I didn't really have much of a problem. Even on the harder difficulties, you could pretty much just mow right through them. But on this, just on normal difficulty, it definitely feels like the enemies are harder. They swarm you a lot faster. So you really have to, you got to stay aware of how many enemies are around, which directions they're coming from, because you can get overwhelmed real easily, you know. And yeah, you see people that are online playing through the hardest difficulty and they're doing phenomenally, but these are probably people that are playing through Dead Souls using like chopsticks or some shit. The little fucking, what is it, the drumsticks on the on the drum controller and shit like that, they're probably the ones that are playing it blindfolded and shit. So you see these videos online that are people are playing it and they're like, oh, it's not hard. And I'm like, yeah, bullshit. It's hard. So if you go through Resident Evil 4 Remake, expect the difficulty to be ramped up. It's significantly ramped up.
Fair enough. Fair play. Ash, what have you been playing?
This week I played a few games. I've been playing more of that Kart Rider Drift, just sort of doing the dailies and stuff like that, just to sort of tick that along. I've started playing that Sackboy: A Big Adventure because it came out onto PS Plus like a couple of days ago. So that's really good. I'm quite enjoying that. It's like a platforming version of Little Big Planet, more sort of, there's no creative as such like that. You just sort of do platforming and stuff like that. And I've finally got back into Final Fantasy 14. So I've been playing that quite a bit because I got like 90 some hours free. So I've been playing that, finally figured out how to get into my account and that. But it runs out tonight, so I'll probably end up paying for it for a month. But they're the three main things. I lie. I also played The Crown of Wu on PlayStation, and it's awful. So I'll probably not play it much. So always fun, but yeah. That's about it, really. I haven't been going crazy on it, to be fair.
You've done some reviews, though, haven't you? We've had some reviews that have just gone up, haven't we?
Oh, yeah, we've got a nice steady stream of reviews at the moment. Sentinel's helped out, so we've got like a steady stream. Let me just get it up in front of me, because we've got at least one review every day now for the next, I think, 5 or 6 days already scheduled. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 5 more scheduled. I've got another 3 getting scheduled later. I've just got to upload them, but I'm just waiting until after the stream's over to do it. Yeah, I'm working through like a lot of my backlog. Like I've been recording a lot of footage over the last 2 years.
Oh, I think we've lost him. The ghost of Jinnah strikes again.
Oh no,
he's back. He's back.
I still have the audio and video while you guys say I'm frozen, which is weird. So it's a weird StreamYard bug.
You just went moving really fast.
But yeah, so I'm working really through fast. A load of stuff. Sentinel's been helping me. He's done loads of the audio for some of them, and like I say, eventually by the end of I'm off after tomorrow for holidays for a week and a bit, so I'll probably bash a load of reviews out and have them all scheduled for like the next couple of weeks. But it's all like older stuff. It's not the more modern stuff. It's just clearing through like the backlog I've had saved on my hard drive for ages. So we've got loads of Xbox reviews. We've got some PlayStation, some PC, some Nintendo Switch. Me and Sentinel were talking that we probably should do some more PlayStation reviews for the channel as well going forward. So yeah. It is coming. We are working on it, but it just takes time and there's a lot on, and it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, expect lots of cool stuff.
Good. Do you have the review up for the new what is it, the Horizon game?
No, not yet. I haven't. No, I haven't got around to playing it yet.
I haven't either. It's on PlayStation Plus, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on PS Plus. I actually own it. I think Thimba sent me a copy of it.
Nice.
So
it's one of those games I got to tackle too.
For it a bit back. So
you could always have BMG do the review for God of War Ragnarok because he did say he played it.
Yeah, BMG, sure.
I played it. I've completed it, and today dropped actually a new patch for God of War Ragnarok with a new game plus, new level cap, new missions, new armors, new difficulty. So if anyone hasn't checked out God of War yet, I highly recommend it. An amazing game. Don't listen to the Jinnah. The Jinnah, he's got a PS5 now, but he puts down every game that he plays because it doesn't come close to Xbox. So it's okay to be wrong. We can accept that. Anyway, what have I been playing? My usual Marvel Snap. Again, only playing a couple of times a day now through the day at work, just to, keep my hand in there. I think I'm level 1,842 now, so building up nicely and slowly. But again, it is the Game Awards Mobile Game of the Year for 2022, and it's also the XBN Network Mobile Game of the Year for 2022. So highly recommend playing it. It's free to play, and you can literally play the game, never have to spend a penny. You can earn anything in game. They don't slow the pace down, make it harder, so you have to spend money. They don't do anything like that. It's literally just everyone's the same. You can't to win. It's just getting some really cool cards. So highly recommend people check it out. I'm assuming this month or next month we're going to see a lot of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse stuff coming in because the new film drops this month. I think it's later this month.
Have you seen the new trailer that came out yesterday or the day before?
Yeah. How good does that look? Yeah.
Is it
me? Is it me?
I don't think it was till the summer, is it? I thought it was like June.
Oh, I thought it was this month. Yeah, it might be, but you'll have to check on that one.
Yeah,
Well, because all the kids are out from school, so they're going to want them to see the movie, you know.
Oh, it looks good. I love the first film. The first film, for me, it was just amazing. It was a really, really good film. How they did it, you know, the direction they went, and to now being this new one coming out where it's all Spider-Men from all different universes and Earths, and they even reference, I don't know if many people picked up on it, they actually even reference Spider-Man Far From Home, the movie, the Tom, where all the three Spider-Men were in, Doctor Strange and all that. Yeah, it actually referenced that film, Earth Universe 199999. That's cool. That's cool. You know, get a bit of a nod to it. But
did they explain? Hopefully, they explain why it's wrong when the film's on. Because hopefully it goes, why the fuck is Venom there? Because Venom doesn't know who Spider-Man is, and then we can retcon that out of existence and move on with the kid. The worst thing about that film is the credit scene with Tom Holland. Not Tom Holland. What's his face? Bane. Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it always frustrates me because literally the wish was, I want people who know him, know Spider-Man. He doesn't. In his world, he doesn't have a Spider-Man that he knows of. So why is he there other than stupidity? But what can I say? My nerdy nitpicks.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it just feels like they could do. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go on.
Thank you. Thank you so much, 108's Dragon TV. Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
It's your singing, BMG, at the beginning.
Don't read it out, Sentinel. Go for it.
Well, I was gonna say that the Spider-Verse feels like there's so much growth potential there. You know, they just have to really utilize it. And having Tom Hardy's Venom, I mean, it's kind of like a missed opportunity if there's no Spider-Man in that Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
You know, in that little universe.
There will be. They just haven't introduced it, so it shouldn't technically have been there. I think it was a tease for obviously potential future stuff, but I just want Tobey Maguire to be in Spider-Verse and I'll be happy. I want to just walk across the background. He doesn't have to say anything, he just has to walk past. And I'll be happy.
But that would be cool.
The best Spider-Man.
I think the Tom
Holland's the little pig one.
What the fuck?
It's not about Spider-Ham.
Spider-Ham. Yeah. No, I was gonna say I think the Tom Hardy thing was just to get the symbiote in the MCU, wasn't it? That was literally the purpose of it.
Well, but
they'll make it
logic be damned. He was
already in the MCU though, right? Because he was in Andrew Garfield's, or not Andrew Garfield. What's the one? Tobey Maguire. He was in his Spider-Verse because remember he had to fight him before. He fought him in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, in that Eddie Brock. Yeah, but this is a different Eddie Brock, isn't it? So
yeah, it's different Eddie Brock. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I agree. This is one of the best PlayStation podcasts out there because of me, obviously.
That's it.
The main thing.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you very much,
Nice.
108 Dragons TV. We really appreciate it. It's thank you very much. We'll keep.
We are going to
bringing
play
more
that game as well that we were talking about last week. I'm gonna pick it up tomorrow when I get paid. So we'll have some coverage of that horrible, shocking game on the channel very soon.
Oh,
Can you remember the name of it?
I like your dead granny or something like that. I want to
I
date
want.
your dead granny or
I want to
something
date
like
your
that.
dead grandmother. Right, my
It's in my
computer's
wish list.
lagging. So I just need to jump back in. So
So I'll talk about that sale that I've got to talk about quickly.
you do that while I disappear and jump back.
Yeah, I'll let you off. So for everyone who doesn't know, I am an ambassador of the Outright Games for the channel. So we cover all of their sort of releases. They make a lot of sort of kid-friendly and movie tie-in games and stuff like that. Stuff like My Little Pony that you can see on the screen right now. They do Bratz, Jumanji, all sorts of stuff. They're currently having a sale for their Easter sort of campaign. So from the 1st to the 9th of April, so you've got a few days left now, they've currently got discounts on the PlayStation Store covering games like the My Little Pony game, Paw Patrol Grand Prix, Paw Patrol the movie, their new Giganto Dino Kart, the Gigantosaurus Dino Kart game. So check it out if you've got kids. I highly recommend them. I've got the Jumanji game sent off them recently. I'd already played it and completed it, but I'll be doing a video review on it soon. I quite like it. It's a fun little sort of third-person sort of shooter game that you can play co-op. And yeah, so 1st to the 9th on PlayStation, and then on the 8th to the 16th in the UK and US, they'll also have sales on the Nintendo Switch store as well. So if you like sort of your more family-friendly games, tie-in games, they're also available on like every console, every system. They're on Steam. They're even on Stadia at one point. Like I say, they're on everything. So check them out. Fun little games. And also, we have got a giveaway of this game on the screen right now. Or I don't know which way you guys see it when I point, but My Little Pony on PS4. If you go on our Twitter profile, XPN Network, it's the pinned post on Twitter. And on there, you can literally follow the instructions to be in it to win it. And then later this week, probably Friday night, I'll be drawing it, and you will win a DLC download code sort of thing for the full game. So yeah, check it out. Stubbs is really interested in it, he said on Twitter. So is Daz. Everyone wants it because it's like one of the games of the year of last year, clearly. Don't lie, Stubbs. You're not entering it because you already own it. You bought it day one. Look at it. Look at this masterpiece that is on the screen. It's good for kids. My daughter likes it. She's a big My Little Pony fan. So, but yeah, I'm not going to keep going on about it. But yeah, sale on at the moment. Big thank you to Outright Games for obviously supporting our channel massively over the last sort of like 3 months. It's been great. And we look forward to sort of working with them even more in future. So there's your shameless plug. There you go, I'll get My Little Pony off the screen so you don't all cry.
Wow. Oh, Jesus.
I don't want you to take offense, PlayStation fans. That wasn't a personal dig at all of you. It just happened to be the only game I had footage of on my hard drive, basically. Yeah, so if there's any other games you want to see us play, like I love tie-in games. There's nothing better than a good tie-in game that are decent. So if you can recommend any people, let me know. I want to play that new Sonic game, the visual novel where he's been murdered. So yeah. I've downloaded it. Maybe I'll play it next week and do a review of that as well. So
next week's footage will be Red Dead Redemption 2, but it'll be all horses. You know.
My Pony Club and stuff like that, where it's just horse cleaning.
Right. Hey, you got to wear like a My Little Pony shirt for next episode.
Just My Little Pony, but it's got BMG's face on it instead.
There you go.
There you go, guys. That's another great emote idea. If we can get more subscribers to the channel, every time we get like a subscriber or two, we're able to add more emotes. We'll do one which is like the My Little Pony with BMG's head on it. Only the best content on this channel, honestly. Yes, Stubbs, Sonic being killed. Basically, the April Fools was like, we've heard that your feedback and that you don't like some of our Sonic games. So here's a Sonic game where he gets murdered, and you have to decide who, like, you have to solve who killed him. And turns out it's actually a real game they released for free on April Fool's Day. So it's like a visual novel. And yes, I do mean members. All the details are there, scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Become a member, you get videos every Saturday. You got one this Saturday, which was Chapter 2 of our epic Milkman Saga audiobook about Fabio's rise to power in the milk mafia in Brazil. In this chapter, he struck back at his competitors and destroyed their things and stuff like that. So, yeah, you can't get that content anywhere else. I've recorded more food videos. I've got some non-Japanese food just for Fimber because he wants some sort of like Korean and Japanese snacks. So I've gone out of my way and got them. Got all sorts. But yeah, the Fabio thing, I've read the next couple of chapters. It's great. I can't wait to record it. Basically, it's so funny. So.
Good. Right, let's get into some topics. Let's move along, shall we? Up first, from Insider Gaming by Tom Henderson, Sony's next PlayStation handheld is currently in development. All you people out there, you all thought that, Jim was really care about ABK. He didn't care about ABK. He's never cared about ABK. He's too busy, buying them cars, shining them shoes, living the high life, while in his workshop, hand making this handheld PlayStation device. And it's okay. He fooled all of us. We were all upset. I was emotionally affected with the news that CMA are no longer looking at it's against PlayStation, and we all feel the same. We're all heartbroken.
Aren't we?
We're all feeling a little bit down. So Jim, in his infinite wisdom's like, how can I pick these people back up? How can I raise us back to the top of that mountain where we like to look down on everyone else? I know. I'll know about the new console I'm secretly making. Anyway, from Tom Henderson at Insider Gaming. Following days of speculation, Insider Gaming can report that there's a new PlayStation handheld in development, codenamed the Q Lite. The next PlayStation handheld is the next piece of Sony hardware that aims to be yet another piece of hardware that requires the PlayStation 5. Insider Gaming understands that the Q Lite is not a cloud streaming device, but instead uses remote play features with PlayStation 5. A feature of the console giant has been pushing these past couple of weeks. Sporting adaptive streaming of up to 1080p and 60 FPS, the new device will require constant connectivity to the internet. As the console's physical features, early prototypes show the console will look a lot like a PlayStation 5 controller, but with a massive 8-inch LCD touchscreen in the center. You couldn't ask for anything better there. That's just perfect. The device sports adaptive triggers for haptic feedback and will include what you would come to expect from a handheld: volume buttons, speakers, audio input jack, etc. Insider Gaming understands that the Q Lite is in its QA phase and it's scheduled to release before PlayStation 5 Pro and after the detachable disk drive PlayStation 5. What do we think, guys? Is this the kind of handheld we want? Did we want a Vita 2 or a PSP 2? Or is this just seem to be the way things are going? Or is Jim trying to confuse us a little bit more, making people think, oh, it's just remote play, when matter of fact it's going to make Steam Deck and everything else look like child's play? Luke, go on, we'll come to you first. What do you think? Is this good news? Is this a good direction to go for PlayStation, or are they wasting time?
I mean, if it's if it's the device that's being described and that's accurate to what it ends up being, I think it's just a waste of time, to be honest. I don't really think I don't really know what the market for this is at all. Like what is the subset of gamers that will use this? Because, and I get, like, you know, I mean, I'd love like a proper PlayStation handheld, something that plays games natively. I get why they probably won't do that, because it's extra effort to then develop for. They've already got a separate sub platform, as it were, with PSVR 2, you know, trying to make games for that. So I doubt they want to introduce something else. But yeah, it's a bit like, well, it's even less like, you know, that Logitech cloud device, the one that you can take. Like, it's almost less pointless than that. Oh, sorry, more pointless than that. And that to me was one of the most pointless devices I've ever seen. So like, I don't really get it. I mean, I'm sure, like, it's a piece of hardware, it will probably be cool. Like, I think whatever it will be, they'll do a good job. But I won't get one, because what's the point? You can already remote play on a mobile or whatever other device you have that has an internet connection. So why is someone going to go out and spend, you know, up at least £100-200 presumably on this extra thing? Like, I just don't get it. But I mean, we're going on rumor and hearsay at the moment, albeit reliable. So maybe there's some other angle we're not seeing here, which will be revealed at some point. But right now, I don't get it.
Well, I'll be getting it. I don't care. I want it. I want a dual sense controller that has this 8-inch screen. I don't care if I just display it and it never gets used. I just want it. I've got to have it. I need it. I need that more than I need a PSVR 2. And I want a PSVR 2.
I'm waiting for this PSVR 2 price drop, and I'll probably pick one up.
Oh, it's going to drop. Oh, that's going to drop. I don't think you're going to see it just yet, but I think when you start hitting the summertime, I think it's, you know, it's the sales of that's not doing
we've
too
got
well
like
at the moment.
25% of the sale owners right here in this show. Like, one of the 4 people that bought it, Luke. So, I mean, it's rare at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks great. Do you know what the problem is? It looks really good.
It's great. It's a fantastic device. But yeah, and it's got a lot of good games. But I mean, like, this is slightly off topic, I guess. But I think the sales of that, like, is it really surprising that it hasn't sold particularly well? I don't think it is.
Never sold well, did it? Really?
No, and I think actually when I think, what was it, like 300,000 units it's apparently sold? I was quite surprised it sold that much, because it's a $500 peripheral to a $500 console, launched at a time when nobody has any money. So, like, for it to sell hundreds of thousands of units, I think it's pretty good. But it was never going to be like a big seller anyway, and especially not in the current economic climate. So, yeah, they'll have to drop the price at some point, sooner than they probably want to, but it's just the way it is. It's great. Yeah. It's great, though. It's fantastic. I mean, it's great. It's really, really good. I would recommend it, but yeah.
They're probably going to wait, aren't they, till, you know, production costs drop maybe a bit, even if just a little bit, just before they drop it, so they don't start losing too much money on them. But we'll see. We'll see. I do want to pick one up, but it's just price is just, I can't justify it at this moment in time. Ash, what about you? Are you interested in this?
Do you know what? I was really hyped when I saw the headline, and I was like, yes, a new PSP or a PS Vita, which were all great consoles. And then I clicked on it and read it, and it's rumored to be a remote play only device. I was like, well, why? I don't, like Luke says, there's no point to it. Like, it'll probably be the best sort of cloud, like, specific for cloud gaming console out there. They'll always make it look great. It'll probably just look like a PSP. Do you know what I mean? Which will be great. But if it only plays remote play, what happens if you've got crap internet for your upload? Like, if it had like cloud on it, I'd be a bit more interested as well. Like I could cloud stream like my PS Plus library on it and stuff like that. Then I'd be a bit more interested. But more, I would have rather have just had a brand new handheld. Like the PSP was amazing. The PS Vita was really great. It just didn't sell well enough, and they dropped it like it was like an unwanted child. Do you know what I mean? They just
Do you remember PlayStation TV?
well, they dropped it as quick as PS TV, didn't they? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
PSTV was in game in the bargain bins, and they had them by the front of the store, hoping people were going to nick them, and no one did. Oh God, no! We don't need that, Luke. We don't need that.
That's what we needed. That's what we needed.
It needs to be a machine that can have physical, not physical, but like actual installed games on it, so you can play it offline, and also cloud. Like I get the cloud, I get the push, but you're gonna have to buy this handheld to already own a 500 quid PS5 to have it switched on all the time just to be able to play a game. And remote play is great, but it's not perfect by any means. If you've not got the best internet connection, it's pointless. So it then becomes a pointless machine. And if it's a Sony handheld, they're not going to allow all the third-party stuff on it, and like you can get with the Logitech app. So it makes it just less interesting, less valuable. So unless it's like 50 quid or 100 quid, I don't see it being popular. I just hope it's a handheld, but I don't think it will be. I think they're all in on
DualSense.
What?
It's built into a DualSense. What more do you need?
Why would you want that?
Because that'll be awesome.
Why?
Because it is. The DualSense is the best controller.
TV. It's not. I get hand pains from playing with a PS5 pad too long. It's all in the wrong place.
No, it's the best controller.
It's not 100%. The best. You're all wrong. And then it talks to you. I was playing that Sackboy and it keeps shouting shit at me every time I'm doing something.
Yeah.
And then it vibrates when I kick a box. It's great the first time, but after about 2 hours...
Better than this. Look, garbage.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah.
This garbage. No, it's not. These are great, but I love the DualSense.
The only thing the series controllers can do, it has a light-up Xbox button that blinds you if you're playing at night.
I'm not even bothered about the series, the Elites. I think the Series X controller is like the perfect evolution. And I was always a fan of the 360. I think the 360 is the best feeling. Like, I'm not saying the buttons and that are better, but the 360 pad is the best one to fit in your hands. It's just like it was melded by angels into like your perfect hand sizes. It's great. Like they had the Duke, it was made for giants. And then they made the 360 pad and it was just perfect. And then they went, "Ooh, how can we change this when we don't need to change this just for change?" And the new one's not bad. I'm looking forward to that 360 re-release, but it has the button for your share. No, the Hyperkin one. I probably pick one of them up because I love my share button. Like, that is the best thing ever made, the share button on consoles. Like, the PlayStation and Xbox ones are great. The Switch one is in a really awkward position out of the way of your finger. So you have to, like, take your hand off what you're doing to take a screenshot or a video. It's, like, right at the bottom for some reason, not where your thumbs would be. But every console controller needs a share button nowadays. It should just be the thing.
Should be standard.
Yeah. But in terms of that handheld, it's not a PSP 2 or 3. It's not a PS Vita 2. I'm not that bothered. If it's just a streaming device that only streams when I've got my PS5 on, I may as well just sit and play on PS5.
Yeah, but what happens if you go to the toilet? You're going to be in there for a while, sat in the bath, you're having a beer, you're thinking,
what if your internet shit?
I want to play.
It's pointless. I've just then spent like 200 quid on a bit of plastic that I'm looking at myself in the fucking black screen having a shit because I can't play anything because my internet's so bad. And that's a sad sight I don't need to do.
Well, get better internet. That's the solution.
So then I have to pay for more
It's not Jim's fault you got bad internet. Come on.
It probably is. It wouldn't surprise me. Like, you play Xbox.
Can't blame him for everything.
You know, the whole PlayStation Portable thing kind of feels like PlayStation is listening to some of what the gamers are saying and some of what they're asking for, but not necessarily everything. Because you look at back when like the PSP and the PS Vita were really big. I mean, that was 10 years ago. And so much about technology has changed since then. You know, 10 years ago, I had a iPhone 4, which is like it's like half the size of the iPhone that I have now. It was small, it was little. There was no way you could play games like Grand Theft Auto 3 on it, you know. And I mean, you look now, you can play tons of these games that are phenomenal. With of course Xbox focusing on the xCloud stuff. You know, you can essentially turn your phones into gaming devices that can play all this stuff. So it's like, and everybody has phones now. Everybody has phones. So PlayStation wanting to do something that your phone can already do, it's a very hard sell. You know, what I think PlayStation needs to do is really lean heavily into something that we just don't find anymore. Like Ash was saying about have games that you can play in offline mode. You know, have games that, you know, I mean, hell, even go back to some type of cartridge. It doesn't have to be digital. Like how the PSP had the little disc cartridges you could put in. Have something like that.
UMD discs, they were amazing.
Yeah, have something like that, you know. And you have Blu-ray technology. Make small Blu-ray discs because the Blu-ray discs are naturally multi-level, so you can store a lot more in there. And yeah, that's going to limit. Technically, that could limit how much you can actually store on one of those game discs. But it's going to give them a product that's different than what we're seeing now. And it's going to lean heavily into what made PlayStation popular before with the PSP and the PS Vita. Like, you don't need an internet connection. You just grab a couple of game discs and you're out the door. Go hang out at a friend's house, or, you know, you're at work on your lunch break. You can play it without having to need an internet connection, and you can play games that you actually enjoy. That's what PlayStation needs to lean into. This whole online thing, or, oh, you need a PS5, stay away from that shit. Because...
Do you know what I'd like to see him do? Take all this budget they're probably wasting on making this thing.
Yeah.
Put it into a big bag, and then spend it on adding all the PSP games that don't exist anymore onto PS Plus, because that would be cool. More valuable. Because I'd love to see like all those GTAs that are PSP exclusive that would grow, like Vice City Stories and Liberty City Stories.
Yes.
There's loads of Dragon Ball games that were on PSP and stuff. There's loads of cool, like there's some not Band of Brothers. What was it called? Oh, it's basically Band of Brothers, but it's can't remember the name. But there was like a World War II game. There was a couple of them that were only on PSP.
Yeah,
get them on, stick them on PS Plus, stick them on the PlayStation Store so people can buy them. Because like, it's just, why can't you? Like, if I can download an emulator and play them better than ever, like you can download the PSPPP or whatever it is. It runs everything at like 4K. It looks absolutely phenomenal. It up-reses all the textures. Plays super well on an Xbox pad. Why can't I play that on my PlayStation with a PS pad? It just baffles me. It's like Nintendo, where they're drip feeding you. Like this month on Nintendo Switch Online, we're getting one game. Pokemon Coliseum or whatever, Stadium 64. One fucking game, and they're making a big hoo-ha about it. It's like, it's been released like 6 times. It should have been there at launch. It's just the PS Plus really needs more retro. Like it got announced with like the classics, and there hasn't been enough classics. And the PSP side is where they should really look at, because it's like an untouched sort of gem, in my opinion. I'd rather see that. I'd rather see them just release the PSP again, but digitally with cheap PSP games. I'd be well happy. Exactly.
That would be cool. That would be nice. You know, you mentioned the GTA games, Liberty City Stories, Vice City Stories. If they bundled those together, even if they didn't fix the resolution and they had them as part of the PS Plus thing, because they're technically PS2 games. They're ported to PS2.
Brought them out on PS2 later, didn't they?
Yeah,
so they could
they did
use those versions anyway.
BMG calls me the $70 gamer. You could bundle those two together, and I would legitimately buy the bundle for $70. I would, because it's so fun.
Whoa, we're going down the wrong lane here, guys.
No. Well, what I'm saying though is
$20, Jim. Don't get ideas.
Some of those games are worth that much to people that like them. So if they had them for free on PlayStation Plus, that's going to draw in so many more people to the service. You know, rather than have people say, I don't know if the service is I don't know if it's really worth it. You never want, with a PlayStation Plus, just like with Xbox Game Pass, you don't want the customers to say, well, I'm not really sure if it's worth it. You want the customers to always say, hell yeah, that shit's worth it. And for it never to be a question in their mind, for them to say, hey, you know what, these games are kick-ass, I love them, I have to have PlayStation Plus. That's the first thing I'm going to buy when I get paid every single month or every 2 weeks, is I'm going to make sure that my PlayStation Plus membership is renewed. Because if you're putting that much value into that service, you'll never have to worry about those numbers dwindling. And they need to take the same approach with any handheld that they release. They need it to be so spectacular that everybody who loves PlayStation says, shit, I have to pick one up. Even though I don't have money, I need to find a way where I can pick this up. That's what they need to do. That's the approach they need to take.
But they don't need to sell 2 games at $70 from like 20 years ago.
I like Grand Theft Auto. What can I say?
And this is why we haven't got a GTA 6 yet, because Sentinel keeps buying those blooming shark books and stuff.
No, I'm not a GTA Online gamer. I hate GTA
He's bought
Online.
72 copies of GTA 5 on every console. Can't wait. You can't wait for his
I
PS5.
actually have not. I have not bought the newer versions of GTA 5.
Don't
Just
lie
you
to
know.
us. Don't
I
you
have.
lie.
I know BMG has like 12 copies of Xbox, 12 copies of PS5. I know. I get it. I haven't,
bought
though.
the trilogy. I bought the trilogy, even though I knew it wasn't great, but it was like 25 quid on sale, and I thought 25 quid for 3 games is not bad, especially when 2 of them are some of my favourite games of all time.
Yes.
So you can't go wrong.
The market is there, though. The market is there for PlayStation to lean heavily into this nostalgia, but they got to have the right mentality going in. And having a portable that requires a PS5 or that doesn't have an offline mode, that's just wrong.
Yeah. I'm not saying they shouldn't do a portable. I'm just saying if it's going to be a streaming only.
Oh, Ash is frozen again.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if I could, I want to re-pick up another PS Vita, but
Remote
it's still
play.
so expensive.
I'd rather you just took that one out because. And they've shut the store down now, so you can't get half the games anymore.
Yeah, but yeah, you can still pick them up on because the Vita had the discs. Was it the Vita had the discs?
No, Vita had the cartridges. It had like
Cartridges,
memory
yeah.
cards in it.
Yeah. But I'd love to pick another one up. Mine died years ago, and it's something handy. I'd like to have another one just to play a handful of games. But
I like that
so
Uncharted,
so
isn't it?
expensive. Yeah, Golden
Yeah,
Abyss.
Golden Abyss,
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing game.
That's one you think they would have ported over in a collection just to. It just made sense. It didn't have a lot of touch controls that you would ever use. You could have just put them on buttons, basically.
Yeah.
They're just still so expensive. That's the problem. The price for the Vita has never really dropped because, again, is it Japan? They're still so big, and they still have different variants. I think they've only just
Still
recently
games coming out for it,
production.
Vita.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah,
new games getting released. They can't do them digitally now because Sony shut store, but they still release them physically. If you look at like limited run games and that, I'm sure there's some up for pre-order still. It's great to see. It's nice that gamers and small indie companies are supporting them and they're keeping it going. It's like Dreamcast still getting new games and Mega Drive still getting new games all these years later. It's great to see like that. We're in this sort of time, but gaming in general, anything past the PS3 360 era is so expensive. It's like everyone has just gone mad. Everyone's looked at eBay prices, or not even eBay. They've seen all those stupid videos online and stuff and articles where everyone's like, oh, it's worth this much. And it's like, no, they've just looked at the most expensive eBay listing, even though it's been on for 6 years and has never sold. And now everyone's buying them all up at car boots. You can't get them cheap secondhand. And there's so many secondhand retro stores that popped up nowadays that overcharge for stuff. So it's a shame. Game Boys. Why are Game Boys like 80 quid for a Game Boy? They're not even good. Like Game Boy 1, like original big fat chunky Game Boys, no one wants. You want a Game Boy Color or a Game Boy Advance, but for some reason they're going for silly money. What's the point? You may as well just buy these emulator ones where you can just put every single game on them. I don't condone piracy, do you know what I mean, as such, but if you can't physically buy them, but there's companies making better versions of them. Like they're not called Game Boys; they're just like whatever. I don't know what they call them, but they play Game Boy cartridges, but you can also put a memory card in them. But they have backlights, they have better button like lifespans and stuff. gaming, it's just a weird thing at the moment. Retro gaming, I tell you.
Crazy times. Right, let's move on because we've been going for nearly an hour. We've only just done the first topic.
Because you were so in love with it.
That's it. I'm game one. I will be game one. I don't care if it just doesn't even work. I'm still going to get one. I want one.
And this is why we have $70 games, because of people like you, BMG.
No, me, Sentinel. Sentinel's like, Jim, put price up for me. Go on, put price up.
Release GTA, 70 quid. Go on, do it. Do it, Jim.
I was all over that. When they re-released Grand Theft Auto 5 with the, the current next-gen / current-gen editions, they were cheap. I were all over them. I think I actually bought a copy. I think I bought it. I can't remember if it was the PlayStation version or the Xbox version that I bought because somebody was giving me shit on Twitter saying I'm part of the problem. So I purposely bought it just to stick it to them that I bought it. Got blocked very quickly, but it was worth it. It was worth it. I could play it anywhere now. Anywhere, anytime. It's still an amazing game. Isn't that right, Sentinel?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pick up the new one. And it's like, I didn't pick up the new one, obviously, because we have backwards compatibility for PS4 and Xbox One games to PS5 and the Xbox Series consoles. So I said, you know what? It doesn't make sense to buy another copy of the of Grand Theft Auto 5 when legitimately on the Series X and the PS5 last generation versions are still going to run phenomenally, right? Now, I bought it for PS3, and you had a problem in that game where if you drove too fast, the game couldn't, the draw distance wasn't enough. So you're basically driving faster than the game can draw the road and the buildings in front of you. But with the PS5, running the PS4 version, or the Xbox Series X running the Xbox One version, you never have that problem. So I said it doesn't really justify me buying it again. Like Ash said, I bought the definitive edition just because, I enjoyed some of those games and I wanted to go back through and play them on Xbox because you couldn't before that. You could only play San Andreas, but you couldn't play the first two. But as far as GTA 5, the new generation version, I couldn't justify spending any more money on it. I just couldn't.
Yeah, that's fair play. Right, let's move on. PlayStation reportedly hold a showcase ahead of Summer Games Fest. This comes from Andy Robinson over at VGC, one of the best video game news websites, apart from the XPN network, which is always at the top. Check us out. Updated daily. Ash is on the ball. Sony Interactive Entertainment will reportedly hold a PlayStation showcase ahead of this summer's planned video game events. That's according to Giant Bomb's journalist Jeff Grubb. His number one fan is Stubbs, by the way, so just point that out. Who has regularly reported on planned summer events ahead of their announcements in the past. According to Grubb, a PlayStation showcase will be held sometime before Summer Games Fest event on June 8th, the Xbox and Bethesda showcase on June 11th, and Ubisoft Forward on June 12th. The report follows this week's confirmation that the planned return of a physical E3 event has been cancelled due to lack of support from major publishers. This was a difficult decision because of all the effort we and our partners put toward making this event happen, but we had to do what was right for the industry and what's right for E3. Reed Pop's global VP of gaming, Kyle Marsden Kish, said in a statement provided to VGC. Sorry. I did have E3's dead as a topic. So we'll discuss the showcase and then we'll jump to the E3 bit. So do we think we are going to see a showcase before Summer Games Fest? And what do we think we are going to see? Sentinel, come to you first, sir. Are we going to get this show? What date do you think it'll be? And what would you like to see?
I do think we're going to see this show. I'm not sure the specific date, but I want to point something out, and this is relevant, but just stay with me. BMG, me and you have had heated discussions about The Last of Us remake, right? And you pointed it out that it made tremendous sense to have a remake on PS5, even though there was a remastered version on PS4, because they could sell tons of copies because of the television show, right? Mm-hmm. Now, PlayStation has been pretty quiet as regarding what exclusives they have from their legacy titles, I guess, that they've been working on. Now, I do want to bring this up because I think it's relevant. The Twisted Metal TV series is actually going to be on Peacock. It's set to air sometime in 2023. It's already, I guess, the first season already was filmed, and it says from May to August of 2022. That's when production and all that stuff happened. So this show has already been put into action. It's supposed to air this year. And because of that, because Twisted Metal, a TV series, is supposed to air, I feel like the Twisted Metal reboot is going to be a game that they're going to surprise everyone with. And I know for a lot of people, they're like, well, we haven't seen a Twisted Metal title since the PS3 generation. And it's like, yes, but they're looking at the Last of Us TV series. They said that did well. It sold numerous copies. What better way to kickstart the reboot of a franchise, to really get it going, than to announce it as well as a trailer for the upcoming TV series that is already scheduled to launch this year. It just makes tons of business sense. And one of the biggest criticisms we have for Jim Ryan is that he's not a gamer. But if he's anything, he is absolutely a businessman, and launching a Twisted Metal TV series the same year that a reboot comes out is going to make tons of money on both.
Yeah, definitely agreed. It's something that's going to happen. You know, it's going to time in somewhere around there. Personally, I think we're going to see it because PlayStation, they like to drop stuff usually on a Tuesday, don't they? It's generally a Tuesday you tend to get stuff. So the Tuesday before Summer Games Fest would be June 6th. So that would probably be a good date to actually to do the show. I do plan on, once we get an official announcement from PlayStation when the date and time of the show, I think we'll figure it out logistically, but we'll probably do like a prediction show, both Xbox and PlayStation, which would be quite fun to do. But yeah, that's my prediction is we're going to see it on the 6th of June. What I'd like to see, I want to see from the studios we've not heard from quite a while, Sucker Punch. I would like to think that they are now towards the end, production-wise, maybe, of Ghost of Tsushima 2. Maybe they've got something to show off. Maybe it's further along than we think. I'd like to see something from them. Obviously, I'd like to see the Twisted Metal game because I remember playing Twisted Metal game as a kid. You know, it was awesome. Always had the split screen, doing the campaign bit they had. It was always fun. And I'm hoping, and obviously this is kind of part of the E3 news we had as well about E3 gone. Konami were said, and they were in E3. They were a part of E3. So like the question is, where do they go now? Because they've got stuff to show off. We got the announcement. I can't remember if it was earlier this year or late last year. They said we've got a lot to show.
Yeah.
And they would be at E3, and then E3 was announced, and they said they would be there. So I'm wondering if we could see, whether it's too late in the game now, I don't know. But maybe we finally get I wouldn't say Metal Gear Solid 1 remake, because that's kind of fluctuated a bit, but Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater's been floating around quite a fair bit lately. Yeah. And I think that we could see that at this PlayStation show. You know, I'd like to see, see what they've done. Maybe a bit more of some from factions. I think they did say it's probably going to be next year, but maybe we get a bit more of a teaser, as a bit of goodwill. But it'd be interesting to see. Is there anything particular you'd like to see Sentinel at a PlayStation showcase?
I know they have the Silent Hill, I don't
2.
remember. Silent Hill 2,
Silent
I guess.
Hill remake.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was a remaster or a remake. I couldn't remember.
Remake, I'm pretty sure it's remake.
I'd love to see the Twisted Metal reboot, reboot, of course, and then the Silent Hill 2 remake. But I also would like to see something, and I know that there's like almost no chance this would happen, but something like SOCOM where they really come back where they really, because it's like if you think about it, Rainbow Six is really the closest thing we would have to something like SOCOM as far as competitive. You can't really say it compares to Call of Duty because it's a different dynamic. It's team based, but I feel like I would love to see Sony really have Bungie help them to design a modern AAA SOCOM. I think it would propel PlayStation to new heights, and I think tons of people would pick it up, and it would probably be part of the esports scene in no time.
Yeah, good. Luke, what about you? Do you think June 6th could be quite a potential date, few days before Summer Games Fest? What would you like to see at the PlayStation Showcase? Anything, it could be out of this world, it could be something crazy, anything, but what would you like to see them, Uncle Jim, bring us as a early Christmas present?
Early Christmas from Jimbo. I think June 6th could be, but I think it'll probably be in May, because I don't think they'll want it to be too close. I think they'll want a kind of island all of their own. So I don't know what specific date, but I'll go kind of towards the end of May, after the 20th, something like that. And before the 1st of June. I think that's probably where they want it to fall. And then in terms of what am I expecting to see? I'm expecting to see factions. I think they said that we'll get a lot of information about that this year. I don't think it'll release this year, but we'll certainly see what it is, what it's become. Because obviously that's grown arms and legs into a pretty ambitious project, so that should be cool. I think probably agree with Sentinel. I think we'll see this Twisted Metal reboot. I don't know whether it will release this year again, but I think we'll see it, even if it's just we're making it kind of teaser. More stuff from Konami, so more Silent Hill 2, maybe this MGS 3 remake that's been rumored for a while, maybe some Castlevania that's been rumored for a while. Obviously more Spider-Man 2. I'm trying to think. I mean, I'm trying to think, like, because they've got a lot of studios, but it's hard to kind of estimate where some of them are in their dev cycles. So Sucker Punch, I would expect to see there, at least announcing another Ghost of Tsushima. I think that's almost guaranteed that that's what they're making. After the success of the first one. Maybe Haven's new game. Maybe that'll be revealed, shown off. And then, there's lots, like, what about Corey's new game, right, at Santa Monica? Like, are they ready to reveal what that is after just releasing Ragnarok? But I don't know. Maybe it's a bit too early for that, right? So, they've got a lot going on, but I think they'll have a blowout, but I just don't know how much they want to show. But in terms of, like, what I'd really love to see there, I'd really love to see what Blue Point are making, what their next game is, because I don't have any clue what that could be. They've said that it's the first game where they're doing original content. So, is it a remake with stuff that they're putting in the game? Is it something from scratch? Don't know. But their projects are just incredible. I think they're super talented. I'd love to see what Housemarque are making next after Returnal, but I think it's probably too early for that. I'd love to see Wolverine, just to see what that looks like. If they've got some slice of that, that would be great. There's a lot. I'd love to see, obviously, what Neil Druckmann's next project is after Factions, but again, I think that's probably way too early, unless it's something like Part 3 of The Last of Us, right? In which case they might do, again, a teaser of we're making it. There's lots, man. I mean, there's a lot that they could reveal. There's a big slate of studios that we just don't know what they're making. There's Bend as well. So yeah, I'm just ready for a showcase. I think everybody's ready for a showcase from them, because they haven't had one for a long time, but basically a year and a half now, or maybe a little bit more. And of course, we always forget all of the, like, this is just stuff from Sony, right? But they will have. I'm sure they'll have new exclusive third-party games as well, or second-party. And obviously they'll have multi-plat games there that maybe get revealed for the first time, or that they show new stuff for. So I'm sure it'll be a very comprehensive showcase. But yeah, I think in May, and I think it'll be a good one.
Oh yeah, and you know what's going to be there? The re-reveal of Abandoned. It's coming, baby.
There we go.
It's a game. It exists. It's not Kojima. Hassan was just making a load of crap up. Abandoned, and we're all going to be blown away.
He's been working on it diligently.
Oh yeah.
And now we're finally going to get it.
I don't think we're getting abandoned. I think you'll see it on CNN when they show the guy's been brought up on fraud charges, and he's going to federal court or something. That's when I think you'll see it next. That's it.
Oh, Jim Ryan's been helping him in his garage. Jim will fix it.
I don't think he's been working on abandon in his garage.
Oh, you never know. You never know. Ash, what about you? When do you think this show's going to land, and what do you think we're going to see?
I don't know. We'll probably see it around E3, I would think. I mean, every bloody week someone says there's a showcase coming. It's guaranteed next week. So I've stopped caring about when dates are. I just want to see content. And all I hope is they start showing us something. There's very little we know is coming to PlayStation right now, officially announced. We've got Spider-Man. We got Wolverine. We ain't got much else. We're like fully announced. We got Last of Us multiplayer. I'd just like to see what they're doing next. I hope there's more sequels to some of the more popular stuff. I hope we get more original IP over remasters and remakes. But I'd also like to see them have a big blowout for their subscription services. I want to see more stuff on that. I don't know. I'm trying to think what I'd like to see from Sony, but more
bangers.
Yeah, bangers. That's all I want. That's all I want from
greatness.
any company is bangers after bangers.
Yeah.
Like, at the moment, I'm quite happy with what everyone's putting out. Sony are a bit quiet, which makes me think there's going to be some big announcements. I'd hope if they do, like, big exclusive games that they're their own IPs, they're not, like I say, I don't want a Metal Gear remake that's locked to PlayStation. I don't think that's the way to do it, especially after we had the collection on Xbox and stuff like that. I think that's a backward step from Konami, but it wouldn't surprise me. They sold Silent Hill 2 to PlayStation for exclusivity, so would not surprise me. I assume we're probably going to get more Final Fantasy VII remake, remaster part, whatever is it, 2 now we're on. They're probably going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Probably like, ha ha ha, you will never get this Xbox, doing a little dance. But yeah, no, I just want to see more of the same. I'd love to see them go back to some of the classic franchises and bring them back. Resistance, you've got that one with the superpowers, I can't remember the name of.
Infamous. How could you forget the name of Infamous? That's like the greatest IP that PlayStation has. Oh,
I haven't
Jesus.
played it since the PS3. The last time I played Infamous was when I got it free when they got hacked for like 2 months and they gave you a load of games for free on PS3.
You're giving me chest pain, I swear to God.
I'd like to see Twisted Metal. I'd like to see all that sort of stuff come back. But whether they will, I don't know. They're probably just going to come out and the showcase is going to be like 95% Square Enix games because they've got them locked down like in the mines in PlayStation. So
yes.
Who knows? And I don't blame them. Fair play. If they're smart enough and are willing to spend that cash.
Yeah. See, the thing is, we haven't had an actual PlayStation showcase, which is their main show.
Yeah.
As Luke said, I think it's about a year and a half. It's been a long time since we've had a proper showcase, and the reason being is because nothing was ready. But if rumors are true and we do get announcement of a showcase, that means they're ready to show some things off. They've got stuff for us to see.
Well, I hope so. Otherwise, it's going to be a very quiet bloody year, isn't it?
but
20 minutes of Final Fantasy 16.
Xbox have blown their load for beginning of years, where normally they blow it at the end of the year. This year, Sony have been super quiet at the beginning of the year. I'm hoping they go all out towards the end of the year, but we don't know. We know Spider-Man's probably coming around September time.
Yeah, Venom leaked it.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna be all over that.
Oh, I can't wait for that. I'm going to replay the remaster. I've got the remaster of the original I need to play through. But yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not really been following gaming news for like what everyone's making, other than like Xbox. So I just take it with a grain of salt, and I'll see what shows up. Really, that's all. As long as there's games for me to play, I'm happy.
It's definitely a good year for gaming, but I can feel it in my balls, deep down in my balls. I feel that little bit of tingling sensation that we're going to have more greatness this year.
It's going to be half an hour of this showcase is going to be them showing off this crap handheld that's only...
don't. That gets me excited. Don't put that image in my head. Oh.
They're going to start the showcase, going to show one game off. It'll be Spider-Man 2 starts it. And then there'll be like that little man with his little white gloves on in his little cage. Like that he showed the PS5 off. He's going to do a deep dive into this crappy handheld.
His little cage.
And he's like, with his little white gloves on, trying to make it look like it's really easy to do. And they're gonna show this handheld off, and he's gonna have to have like 16 screws and solder it to take it off and stuff like that. And put it back together, and that's what it's gonna be, just to spite you, BMG.
No, it's gonna be good. Jim, we support you. We're here for you. You've got my number. Give me a ring. We'll talk. Right, let's move on because we're running.
Surely they're going to announce GTA 6 because they own the Bind Take 2, aren't they? I heard on the internet from very reputable sources.
Yeah, right.
Jim Ryan's going to come out with a tattoo of it on his bollocks.
It's going to one up Peter Moore that time.
One up Peter Moore. Off the bat.
GTA 6 just across the gooch.
That's what I want to see. Do you know what I miss? That's what I miss about E3, when people used to come out and big ball it, like when PlayStation did that fucking video about trading games with each other. When Xbox
how to share games,
they used to come out and unveil stuff, and like they pulled the slim 360 out of the big fat 360, and when we had things like Ridge Racer and no one clapped for it because no one cared.
Ridge Racer,
and they had the guy with a flute and stuff. We don't get this anymore. The Summer Games Fest it's like a hollow advertising version of E3, and I know a lot of people seem to are happy E3 is dead, but it's literally an advertising fest. Literally, all it is, it's just dollar signs going down the screen that Jeff gets every couple of minutes because he's pumping out trailers for crap fucking films and tie-ins and shit that ain't to do with games. And it's just I like that it's condensed instead of over like 2 weeks, but it's a slog. It just feels hollow. It doesn't feel like something that exudes love for the product and the games. It feels like this is a marketing ploy to get you. Do you know what I mean? To get as many views on these trailers that aren't video games as possible, so he can make more advertising money for himself. It's nothing to do with promoting new games and consoles and stuff. That's why I like when they do the Game Awards and they don't announce half the Game Awards on the show. You know there's something wrong there. So I miss E3. I'm really sad E3's gone.
Yeah. But join us though, because no doubt we will be live streaming Summer Games Fest.
You can watch us react to Jeff whacking one out to whatever Kojima does next live on stage.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
He'll get on all fours and he'll be like, "Here, stand on my back so you can reach the microphone." You know, he'll be like, "Just stand on my back the whole time."
Hands in a paddle.
Kojima better come on stage with an announcement, a new announcement with Death Stranding 2, and I want to see a real baby in a jar. If I don't see a real baby in a jar moving, I am not happy.
Now I'm not Walking Dead holding it. Like, why am I
get Mads back. Get Mads back. Get Cliff back.
That's it. Yeah,
on him back.
Mads. What's it not? Who's the? Oh God, what's it called? Why's his name gone out of my head? The main character you play in Death Stranding. What's it called?
Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus. He better come out on stage butt naked in all them tattoos.
Yeah.
Has to.
Covered in black slime.
Yeah, well, yeah, handprints. Yeah, I'm available. I'll come.
All of this nonsense just gets me so excited for Death Stranding 2. Like, I can't even tell you how excited I am.
No, you know what? It's fine if Norman Reedus comes out naked as long as Leah Seydoux does also. That's fine. You know, both of them. There you go.
Both holding real life babies in jars.
A real life
Yep.
baby. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We better see it. We better see it.
And the baby better be playing that new PlayStation portable thing.
Oh yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
there you go.
That's it, Sentinel. I like your style. But yeah, we probably are due more of an announcement towards Death Stranding 2, maybe a release date or more gameplay or something like that. Because we're
It was only the Game Awards, wasn't it, though? The announcement. So it's not even that long ago if you think about it. It's only like 5 months. I mean, I'd love it. I mean, to be fair, he made Death Stranding really quickly.
Yeah.
So that was like a weirdly quick dev cycle for Kojima. And he's only building upon the first game. Same engine, etc. Obviously, it'll have new mechanics, but
was it the Decima engine?
Yeah, it was the Decima engine. I mean, that game is going to look absolutely unbelievable, based on Forbidden West and the fact that it's PS5 only. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what that looks like in gameplay. I mean, I'd love to. I mean, maybe we'll get this Xbox game announcement that he's making. Maybe that will be his thing for Summer Games Fest. Whatever that project is.
He'll not want to promote it with such like happiness, so it'll be like him trying to hold in and like not be like super fanboying because he's disappointed that it's on Xbox and not PlayStation. So like you'll see him like checking with trying to, like,
just Jeff heckling in the background. Boo!
Yeah. Boo. And then he's like, "I'm sorry, Kojima, I still love you." It's Kojima-san.
But there's still the third game that Kojima's making that got leaked, if you remember. Overdose.
Yeah. But we don't know if that's the Xbox, like if that's what the Xbox game project has become, like, or if that's just, as you say, like a separate third project.
He's working on free games.
I think it would be. Yeah, there are a lot bigger Kojima productions, but free game capability and for Kojima to be directing all free games, like I can't see it. But I think it'd be cool if the Xbox game is Overdose because they don't have any horror games. So
they're not
it
going to
would be
get any
great.
now. Thingy's leaving Tango, are they? That's it.
No. Well,
we had that one chance to get that great last final horror game from the creator of Resident Evil, and they shit the bed and let him retire or quit because he might not retire yet. We don't know.
They've got Johannes though. He directed Evil Within 2, didn't he? Which was a really good game. And
he's not the guy from Resident Evil though. Oh,
well, no, he's no Mikami, but who is apart from Kojima, who's superior.
Xbox should have got a Dino Crisis and remade that. Should have paid for some money.
That's what we need. That's what Capcom needs to turn their attention to that next.
Well, Xbox need to do it as an exclusive, as an apology for Dino Crisis 3, because that was an Xbox exclusive, and it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it was in space, wasn't it?
It was in space. Yeah.
It was horrible. So they should be like, "This is a thank you and a sorry to all of the players who bought Dino Crisis 3 years ago. We're sorry we made that bag of shit."
Yeah.
Well, speaking of games that is only on current gen, hands-on previews with Star Wars Jedi Survivor is shaping up to be quite an exceptional sequel. This is from Jordan Midler from VGC. This is just his early impressions. I won't read the whole article because it goes on for a while. Star Wars Jedi Survivor feels like a third game in a series rather than a direct sequel. Every element from the first game feels more refined, polished, and expanded upon. And in the final game, you can fulfill the expectations that our demo left us with after a few hours of playing. Then we may have to retire to Assassin's Creed 2 as the benchmark for improvement on a promising original. Our demo began with Cal Kestis crash landing the Mantis on a lush planet in search of some replacement ship parts. The planet, Kobo, I think it's Kobo it's pronounced, is occupied by the Galactic Empire as well as the last dregs of the fallen separatists from the droid army. On his way to meet up with the former pilot, Greasy Money Baby, who is now propping up a bar in a small settlement, Cal runs into a new group of bandits. The Bedlam Raiders are led by the towering Jen Di Ravis. I've probably butchered that as I always do, but hey, stop making these names complicated. Make it easy. Just call them Dave or Bob or Jim. Somewhat easy. We don't need these complicated names. There's so much more that happened during our 4 hours with the game that we can't discuss. And honestly, if we did, we'd be here for days. But rest assured that the sheer number of story threads, interesting leads, and references to both future Star Wars canon and the far-flung past has us extremely excited. Cal Kestis now has 5 combat stances at his disposal: single, double-bladed, dual-wield, crossguard, and blaster. The last 2 were absent from our demo, which started around an hour into the game, we were told by Respawn. The crossguard stance, which has been known in other promotional material, is reminiscent of Kylo Ren's lightsaber, which features a much longer blade and 2 small blades crossing the hilt. Blaster is, well, a blaster. Can't get any more info on that. While the first game experimented with multiple stances and almost included the dual wield stance as its own bespoke option before it being cut from development, according to their interview with Respawn, the sequel fleshes out each of them and gives them all sprawling skill trees. Each stance is a trade-off. One will deal more damage but is slower. One attacks more rapidly but does less damage on each attack and is weaker against blaster fire. It was hinted to us that enemies later in the game will engage in a rock, paper, scissors battle with the player, where one stance is very clearly designed for that encounter. But our demos largely featured basic stormtroopers to mash up. We were free to experiment with all 3. Also returning from the first game is Cal's suit of force powers, which seem to have been revamped somewhat. For example, the ability to freeze multiple enemies in a circle was somewhat of an ultimate move that Cal charged up over time, whereas the rest of the force arsenal, push, pull, launch off a cliff, all remained governed by a force meter. Once we had our sea legs and we were pulling foes towards us, using them as human shields against blaster fire, the skewering of them of our lightsaber. It was like riding a bike. The combat was incredible. It still uses a Souls-like parry system, the timing on which is difficulty dependent, but when you're dealing with large groups of enemies, free-flowing fun that can be had is compelling. We found ourselves quickly seeking out fights just to experiment with a large number of moves each stance offered. It feels like, depending on the length of the full game, you could play through it multiple times, each with a different stance, and get a different combat experience. I'll leave that one there because it literally goes on and on and on into details how they've refined all the combat, the moves, the areas are no longer, there's more to explore instead of being a bit more tight knit. There's so much to see, hidden things to find. Side quests have been more refined and have like stories of their own. And I think one of the questions that people were asking is it going to be like the first game where you start and kind of like, I think I heard someone say a bit like Castlevania, where some big dark wizard comes down and removes all your abilities, and you have to go and find them all again. That's not in this. All the abilities you had from the last game, you have. You start the game, you have all the stuff that you already had, so you're not losing anything. But you're now then building on them, becoming more powerful, learning new stuff on top of the stuff you've already got. But yeah, by all accounts, from the previews, I think I've heard a few say, I've read through a couple. It's kind of like, it's pretty much what the other game was, but stuff that didn't work that well, they've improved. But but no one knows where the story's sort of going. So, yeah, I'm really, really excited for Jedi Survivor. I am currently replaying through the first one, jumping on a bit here and there. I'm extremely excited to play Jedi Survivor. What about you guys? Is it something you're looking forward to? Ash, come to you first, mate. Are you going to pick it up?
Yeah, I probably won't pick up day one. I picked the first one up day one, or like the first week, and then I never really got to the end of it. It's one of those games that I enjoyed, but there's so much else out. And the way I'm playing games at the moment, I'll probably just pick it up in a sale because it dropped in price super quick. The first one, it's like within a month you were like 20% off. So I'm definitely going to pick it up. It looks great. The updates and everything I'm hearing about it sounds fantastic. So I'll definitely be on it at some point. Yeah, can't wait to try it. But it's not one of those must-have games for me. Like I don't have to have it day one, play it for hours and hours. I will get to it and play it, but there's so much else out at the moment. So
you've got to pre-order it. If you pre-order it, you get the Kenobi robes, Jedi robes.
what to do, Basil?
What? That doesn't excite you?
No. Well, yeah, but not full. I don't want to pay full price for it for a game I'm not going to play.
Day one. I'm getting it day one.
I don't blame you for getting it day one. Anyone getting it day one, it looks great. It's just personally me. I've got a bazillion games I haven't played yet, and I'm trying to play that. And then they keep chucking stuff on Game Pass and PS Plus and stuff. It's like Jesus Christ, I'm like buried in it at the moment. So.
Well, you could put I want to date your dead grandmother on hold if you wanted, if you needed to make room for this one. You know,
Puppet won't be happy with you though.
No, that's true. That's true. That's fair. That's fair. Sentinel, have you seen some of the previews of the game? Are you gonna be picking it up? Did you play the first one?
Yeah, I played the first one. I actually pre-ordered the first one and I played through it all the way. Really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people kind of gave it some shit because of the whole Metroidvania thing, but I don't know. I feel like it tried to do its own thing and it did it pretty well. And yeah, there's not really a straight line to any single objective in any of the levels, but that's fine. It gives you a chance to really get used to how Cal moves about. Different ways to navigate, and of course, it just adds to the gameplay. But as far as the second one, I do want to play it a lot. But I agree with Ash. I agree that there's just a lot out right now, and I just don't. I just don't have necessarily the time right now for it. I do want to play it later on. But of course, with it being Electronic Arts, the chances of it coming to Game Pass is probably 4 or 5 months away. So. I mean, it's a game that I'm absolutely going to play. But right now, there's too much, for me to play. I just don't have time for it.
No, that's fair. That's fair enough. It's each to their own. I think we all want to sort of get round to it. It's just as and when. Luke, what about you? You were excited with some of the previews and impressed with them. Same. So it's what are you going to pick up day one? Have you got more interest in now? Now we've seen a bit more, seen some more gameplay. Does it get your hype level up a bit more?
Just DLC, isn't it? That's what it looks like. Just DLC.
How dare you? How dare you, sir?
No. I'm just using the logic that some people used on some other games. So no, I think it looks like a proper sequel. So just bigger, better, more of it. Visual uplift. I really like that they're starting you with the powers you attained from the last game, because I really dislike when games do that. It's quite annoying. So that's cool. The new stance stuff looks really good. I'll probably be kind of dual blading it like Darth Maul, I would imagine. So which is awesome. And I think it sounds like the way that some of the previews spoke about that it was very much you need to kind of mix between your stances effectively, because some enemies will present different challenges, but you can only equip 2 at one time. So you can only go through 2, which is interesting. So I think that's really cool. But yeah, I'll pick it up. I'll be picking up day one because I really enjoyed the first game, and this just sounds like it's just a bigger and better version of the first game. It also has some really cool stuff, like you can, I think on Kobo, you can do very light town sim management. Like you can attract people that you find in different places to come back to the town, and they give you certain boosts and stuff, which is awesome. And yeah, it just looks great. Visually, it looks really good, and I'm sure it'll be a really cool adventure as well, because the first one was. So I will be getting it. Yeah.
Yeah. Story for the first game was amazing. I won't spoil it for anyone that hasn't played it yet. If you haven't, where have you been? It's such an amazing game. You can pick it so cheap now,
Yeah, it's nothing
as well as EA Play. But the ending of Fallen Order is just something. I remember I nearly fell off my seat because I was like, "Whoa, what the?" It was that one of them moments of the game. And I hope the story is more of the same. I know they have also said customization is also a big thing of this game. In the first game, you could change your poncho repeatedly, which I hated that poncho. It's the worst bit of the game, was that stupid poncho. This time, you can change like top, bottoms, boots, and stuff like that, and colors. Hair, beard, you can change all that as well, which is nice little touch. And your lightsaber's got more customizable options. It's not just change the hilt and the light crystal. Now you've got like numerous parts you can change, different styles and things. So no, really, really looking forward to it. It's probably one of the bigger games this year that I'm excited for. And I can't wait for it to drop. So it drops April 28th. So I hope, if anyone else is interested in it, let us know in the comments. I'm looking forward to it. Right, we'll do one more topic, and then we'll move on to video game 20 questions, I think.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say strip poker. I was like, yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm all for that. I'll just strip. I don't mind. Yeah,
Luke is like, nope, never mind. I have something to do. I'll see you guys later. Click.
I'll be seeing you.
So because we had a few more topics, but with time wise and that, we'll do this last one, and then we'll move on to video game 20 questions. Multiverse has been pulled from digital stores as it is ready for a 2024 relaunch. This comes from Chris Scullion over at the VGC. Multiverse has been removed from all digital storefronts as Warner Brothers and developer Player First Games prepare to relaunch it next year. Last month, it was announced that the game was set to be taken offline and it would return early 2024. On Tuesday, community manager Corey Taylor posted a message on the game's official Discord server informing players that the game has now been pulled from stores and its premium currency, Gleamium, is no longer available to purchase. As of now, Multiverses is no longer downloadable for new players and has been temporarily removed from storefronts along with Gleamium, Taylor wrote. You can play online modes until June 25th before the game goes offline in preparation for launch. Response from the fan base hasn't been positive, while the Discord server's announcements channel doesn't allow replies. So it does allow users to post emojis in response, and the emojis posted far more times than others are a skull implying a dead game and the crying laughing emoji. As Taylor noted, the game service will remain online until June 25th, at which point they'll be switched off. When this happens, all Multiverse online modes and features will be unavailable. Players will have limited offline access to local matches and the game's training room, including their characters and cosmetic items within these modes. Warner Brothers has said that previously earned or purchased in-game content will transfer to the full game when it's re-released next year, but refunds for this content will not be available. When this game was kind of announced, I thought it was a full release game. I didn't realize this game was just a beta because they've had 3 seasons, multiple characters announced and released that you pay for, not just given, you pay for, as well as cosmetics in clothing, different character skins and like that. I didn't realize this was a beta, and coming back in 2024 after, started off well, player base dropped dramatically and didn't really pull anyone back. Is this game dead in 2024? Do we think that they're going to be able to do something different that's going to bring people back, or do we never see it again? Sentinel, come to you first, sir. What do you think? Did you even play Multiverses?
No. Not even. However, it all depends on the support that they give this game. And I want to point to another game that is actually doing really well right now, No Man's Sky. Anyone who played it at launch, I'm sure almost everybody was predicting it would be dead within 6 months. And, of course, look at it so many years later, and it's still doing phenomenal. But it's because of the support that the studio has really shown that title. So if a game has a following of people that enjoy it, and they do two things. They support it with tons of content, and number two, they have a clear message that they communicate with their fans, not only with their fans, but with potential customers. Even if something like this title was suffering at launch, you can still grow it into a healthy fan base. It's just about the studio being very aggressive and being very proactive with supporting the current fans of this franchise and continuing to reach out to future potential fans to grow it. Because like I said, with No Man's Sky, everybody saw it at launch. It was horrible. But look at it now. It's still making news because of all the content that's coming out. And it's in a much better place because they didn't give up on it. So there is potential for this franchise to come back and to reach a lot more people that have never picked it up before. The potential is there.
But No Man's Sky is not a live service game, is it?
Yeah, you can still play that. You could play that even after launch. They never took it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's still the same premise. You're going to have people that don't mind live service games and people that are open to those experiences. And if you continue to support this live service game, you continue to put content out there, regular updates, you fix issues that people have with your game, and you continue to give them not necessarily value for their money, but value for their time. Because some people may have the money to buy new games, microtransactions or whatever, but there's only 24 hours in a day. And some of us don't have tons of time to devote to a game that's a live service game. So if you give them an experience that's worth the time they invest in it, they're going to come back time and time again. And that's ultimately what it's about.
Let me tell you about this game called Destiny 2.
Oh,
Best
Jesus.
live service FPS game on the planet today. They know how to keep their players in. They know how to keep everyone entertained and stuff to do. That's the game you need to dedicate 10 hours a day to.
Destiny 2 was very bare at launch as well, but they've continued to support the community and they've continued to put out content. And that's the key. That's the key. Even if it launches in a state that's minimal, you still have to keep supporting that community and keep aggressively putting out content that the community enjoys playing. That's what it's all about.
But the thing is, though, Multiverse, they dropped new maps, new characters, new skins. And they did that quite a lot, new seasons.
But they had to pull it, and now they're going to be relaunching it. Yes.
Yeah, but
so they're starting from ground one. What they did before doesn't matter because they pulled it. What matters is now.
Money back.
Yeah,
you've been my money back. I paid for content that I can no longer play.
No. And they need to address that. They need to address that.
Well, they have. They've said, "Go fuck yourselves."
And that's probably not the right message.
No. Go on, Ash. Let's get your take on it because you was a big Multiverses player, you and Redders.
Yeah, we played this at launch. We played for the whole of season 1. I bought the season 1 pass. Played it quite a lot. Me and Redders, quite a lot of hours put into it. Now I didn't realize it was still in beta because there was a beta, and then they hit a point where it became out with season 1 and all of the beta stuff, your progress didn't go over. they were selling up to £100 launch bundles. So I don't know how you can sell a launch bundle if it's not fucking launched. So honestly, I think it's obviously the numbers had dropped massively. So they hadn't really the seasons were there, but the second season that it wasn't getting as much content as the previous one, like new characters. The player numbers on Steam were abysmal, like less like double digit on some days. And the writing was kind of on the wall, but the fact that they've took it offline, they're taking it away, they're not letting you play it, to me is wrong. Like, one thing I would like, a game I would point out to that I used to play quite a lot was Realm Royale, which was a free-to-play sort of battle royale game. And one day they just said, right, we're not doing anything else to it, that's it. But you could still play it. They've now since relaunched it as Realm Royale Reforged. They've restarted pumping out content. They did a roadmap literally 2 weeks ago. They're doing a brand new map. They're doing loads of new stuff, new classes, new abilities, new game settings, loads of new stuff, new items in the store. And like I say, there'd not been an update for Realm Royale in about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. But you could always play it. The servers were still up. You could still play it. Now, in my opinion, if they don't want to update it, or they're doing a new version and it's not coming out next year, that's fine. If you think what you're doing is going to improve the game, by all means do that. But what's stopping you leaving up a server for people to fucking play on in the current state and just say, well, there's no new updates, there's no bug fixes or anything, there's no seasons, you can just play multiplayer with all the stuff you've paid for that we've charged you for, with the promise of all this future game, and just leave it up. And then when the new one comes, like Overwatch 2 did, just overwrite the existing content, transfer over all your purchases. No one would be that bothered because, like, they know it's not been super busy. The community knows it's not doing great. Maybe they're going to release it as like a... I feel like they may end up, if it does come back, because I have a high hopes that it just going to disappear. They're going to be like, oh, it's coming back next year, guys, and then it gets shoved under the rug and it ends up like Batgirl and the Scooby-Doo movies. They just disappear, never to be released to save tax money. But they may release it as like a fully paid game and it's like a standalone. Instead of being live service, it comes out and it's a game like the Nickelodeon battling game where it's all in one. You pay for it, you get your content, and then they'll then charge you on top of that for your season passes and stuff. So they've already got that thing. But I don't know. I think they've been really shitty about it. There was no hint prior to the announcement that was what was going to happen. They just sort of went, oh, by the way, we're off. Bye, guys. Thanks for the money. Lol, lol, lol. And then they fucking disappeared. They should either refund people like they did with, there was another game they refunded everyone when they shut it down. I can't remember which one it was. Or they should leave the servers up so people can fucking play. So
yeah,
you don't have to update. I understand you're focusing on this new version, this update. Don't update the servers, but at least allow people who paid good money for it. Because, like I say, it was what, £100 for your up to £100 for your founders pack. Each of the season passes is what, £10, plus all of the premium costumes. If you had to buy them, they were like a tenner a costume. There's a lot of money some people might have spent on this game, and now you're saying you can't even play it offline. Do you know what I mean? Like with friends, like local co-op or something. It's just weird. So it's dodgy. It feels like a cash grab. And with Warner Brothers in the shit state they're in, it would not surprise me if we never see it again. So, but they should, like I say, they should take a leaf out of Realm Royale's book. They literally, like I say, I'm looking at the page now because I was like, I'm sure they relaunched that. They've now been super up to date on it. They're doing loads of content and everything like that. There's that Darwin project. That was a live service sort of battle royale game. They said they weren't developing it anymore, but they've kept the servers up for 2 years now, heading on 3 years now since they stopped development, and you can still play. Yes, they shut a couple of the servers down, so there's only like 2 main servers to play on, but they haven't took it away from players. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just,
they've still kept it going.
Yeah, that's the issue. It's the fact that they're literally taking it away for an unspecified amount of time. You don't know what the game's going to be like when it comes back. So now you've got all this time where you may have spent a ton of money. I mean, I'm annoyed. I bought one season pass and I'm like, I can't use any of the characters. Yeah, I hadn't played it in a while, but if they'd have added some characters like they said they were gonna, I'd have probably played it a bit more. It's still installed on my Xbox, but it's just false promises, and now they're just running off into the sunset with everyone's money. So I feel bad.
That's it.
They need to address that though, because it's like, even if this game succeeds, you're still going to have a lot of people who are playing it who are still pissed off about losing that money, because if they're not allowed to lose something that they paid for, that's essentially ripping off a part of your fan base.
They've killed it by taking it offline and removing it. Could you imagine if they went, right, we're shutting Overwatch 1 down a year ago, Overwatch 2's coming out next year, don't worry guys. The interest would have fucking died. This game has literally had its death sentence. No one's going to want to support it next year, because they're going to bring it back out and everyone's going to be like, well, what are you going to do if you just shut it down again? You can't. This is a no-win situation the way they're doing it, because one, you've pissed all the current players off who still play it, the hardcore ones that are your bread and butter, your whales that keep spending your money.
Yeah.
And then you've put off all the casual players because they're all like, well, it's dead, and why would I want to support it when they've already fucked over all the players previously? So it's silly. They should have literally just said, we're pausing updates while we focus on a really big sort of meaty like reboot to sort of really kickstart it, get it out of beta. We're launching it, and 343 fans, fucking Halo fans, didn't mind. Like they stayed. They still could play when they knew the updates were coming. They should have just done that. It's coming, guys. But they haven't, and they've done it really weirdly. And I feel like it's just so it'll just disappear quietly next year.
Yeah, it's strange. Doesn't make sense. It had a great reception when it came out. It had a lot of people playing, and it just seemed to dwindle. And I wonder if that's part of one of the reasons they took it off, because surely they could keep something going, keep it running online so people can just keep playing. Just say, we're not updating it till next year, and we're going to come back next year. It's going to have all this amazing stuff we've got planned, and leave it at that. Then at least people, as you say, people could still play with each other online. But now you've killed the game, because who's going to be interested in this game next year?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What about you, Luke? Did you play Multiverses? Have you seen something like this before, where the game's a beta, but not really? We know it's a beta where you can pay for stuff, and then they just take it away and say, "See you later." Might come back next year.
I didn't play it. No, it wasn't really something that interested me, and it's probably a good thing that I didn't. Based on what happened. So, no, I've never seen something like they did. I mean, I'd just be really pissed off if I put any money into the game at all, because it's one thing to say, well, this is, like, very rarely do games come out in something like Steam Early Access, for example, even like multiplayer-led games, and then they have, stores in them that you can pay real-world money for content in. And I've never seen one, end early access early and then say, right, we'll be back in 6 months. Like, it just doesn't. It's just bizarre. You just launch, and then if it's an extended period, you don't have any microtransactions in the game. Like, why would you have microtransactions in an early access / kind of ongoing beta? Like, it's just totally bizarre. And then to wrap it up and just say, well, we'll see you next year is just, I mean, it boggles me. And they've really they've put themselves into such a horrible position by doing that, because you've isolated the actual hardcore element of your fan base, the ones that wanted to invest money into your free to play game. They're going to be super pissed off. And that's even worse, given, by all accounts, their player base was rapidly dwindling. Like, it sunk significantly by the time they pulled it. So, because it had that big launch and it was really popular for a bit, and then players were just leaving the game in droves. So you've isolated some of the only people that are guaranteed or would have been guaranteed to come back to your game. So yeah, I don't really get the ploy here, and I just think they're just going to have a terrible launch next year. Like I think they'll probably end up having a bad launch and then shutter it because I don't see what they can do to garner the goodwill back that they had. It's going to be really hard.
And that's if it comes back.
And if it comes back, it might not. Yeah.
This is it. It's, all these people have spent all this money. It's all right saying, yeah, your stuff will transfer over when we really relaunch, but it's like, but no one wanted that. They want access to what they paid for now, and the founders pack, as Ash was saying, £100 for the founders pack, and give you all this stuff, and you can't even have access to it anymore. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I ain't got much hope for it. I think this game's gone, and you're never going to see it again. But we will see. Right, we're getting a bit conscious of time now, so we shall move on to our final thing of the evening. Video game 20 questions. Video game 20 questions. The panel have 20 questions to guess the game that we have, and can only answer yes or no. If it's a bit vague, or obviously not to throw someone off, we can bend a little bit. But other than that, we'll see. But this week, it's not me doing the game. Ash had one that he came up with last week, so he's actually answering the questions this week. So, Ash, I'll hand it over to you.
I totally forgot it was me. Let me get it up in front of me.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ. You're not even prepared.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm getting it up. Yeah, I'm ready. Go. Ask me some questions.
Right. Did the game come out after January 1st, 2010?
Who knows? No.
So we know it's not a recent game. It's something that's come out beforehand.
Yeah.
Wait, so your question was whether it came out before 2010?
He said it came out after 2010.
After January 1st, 2010, he said no, so it's a game before 2010.
Okay. Why not say something like before 2013? Because now, I mean, it could technically be a PS3 or Xbox 360 game still. I'm just saying because,
Well, we can narrow it down a bit more.
All right.
All right. Did this game release in the what came out with the PlayStation 2? Was it Xbox 360 or Xbox One?
Xbox
One.
The original Xbox, not the
Right.
Xbox One.
So did it release in the PlayStation 2 OG Xbox generation?
No.
Oh. Earlier? Do you think maybe a 90s game?
Not necessarily, because it could still be an Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 game. It just released before 2010.
Have a guess.
Lee?
Waste your points.
That's fine. It's fine. I get it. He's been drinking a lot of vodka tonight. It's perfectly fine.
Should we just ask if it came out in the 90s?
Yeah, why not?
What are you asking?
Did it come out
in the 90s? Are you asking? Yeah, no, is that what you're saying? Is that the question?
Did it release in the 90s?
No.
Right.
I'm going to get you all. This came out. I'm going to get one. It's going to be like, it's in the 70s, fucker. You'll never get it.
Right, so we can rather ask if it came out in the 80s. If not, then that would tell us it's in that PS3 360 era. Or do we just ask, did it come out, did it release 360 PlayStation 3 era?
Was it an exclusive title?
Yes.
There you go. See, you gotta ask the heavy hitters. That's what it is. You gotta ask the important questions.
Yeah, see, he's just not like us.
I'm not used to being on this side. I'm not used.
He's
to
as
being
bad
on
as
this side.
Fabio here.
At least we know it's not going to be something like BioShock. Jesus Christ.
Does this game have 3D graphics?
Yes.
Right, so that would probably say nothing 80s wise, would it? Really, and nothing like Mario games, really.
Did this game come out on a PlayStation console?
Yes.
Okay.
Right, so it's got to be PS3 then, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So it's PlayStation 3 exclusive, 3D graphics.
And it's an exclusive, and there's not going to be many exclusives from 2010 to, 2000? Well, actually 2006. So the game is going to be between 2006 and 2010. It's a PlayStation exclusive. It has 3D graphics, obviously.
Was it a game in a franchise?
Yes.
Okay.
Is this franchise still around today?
Yes.
Right.
That's hard because PlayStation has shelved 95% of their franchises.
Well, no, yeah, but the rest is it's round today, so you could. There's still new as yes. When I'm asking if it's still round today, that's also in they've got new games in the series.
It's not a dead franchise. It's still. I don't want to give anything away, but it's still used in. It's still a known franchise. It's still.
So there's still games coming out in that franchise.
As such, yeah.
Right. Okay. So we know that's narrowed it down considerably. Do we ask if it's a single player game or a multiplayer game?
Is it a racing franchise?
No.
Because I had PlayStation's racing franchise in mind because of the most recent iteration, obviously.
No. I don't touch that garbage on this.
I'm just making sure.
Is it a single player game?
No. Well, you can play it single player, but it does have multiplayer as well.
So it's not single player only.
No, it's not single player only.
Well, I think Infamous is out. Okay.
But would the main focus be? I wonder if the main focus is single player and the multiplayer is an added element, or. So it's a first-party game on the PlayStation.
It's an exclusive game.
Sorry,
you haven't asked if it's first-party yet or not.
Okay. Yeah. Shit. Yeah. How many questions have we got left?
You've got 10. You've done 10 so far.
So just whittle it down, I guess.
Do we ask if it's an exclusive just to get that out of the way?
It is an exclusive.
First party. Because obviously there's a lot of franchises that are still going today. Yeah. Is it a first party game?
No.
So it was a PlayStation exclusive from 2006 to 2010. Or it was one game out of the franchise was exclusive. Which makes it a little more difficult.
Do we try and...
This specific game is exclusive. That's what you asked. So
yeah.
This game was exclusive to the system that it's on.
But we know it's not first party, so first party game.
Is it a game on a handheld system?
The one I'm thinking of, is it a no?
Okay, and I asked because back then they had the PSP. So I just wanted to...
I did think of PSP games, but I thought that would be really cruel. So
Yeah, definitely, yes.
Maybe do we try and find out if it's a first-person shooter or a third-person?
You can ask that.
What should we go with, FPS?
Let's try. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Is this a FPS game?
Do you know what? I'm going to have to give it away slightly. Apparently, it is a first party game. So
You're screwing us.
sorry, it is a
Screwing the
first-party game.
pooch. So, if it's a first party game, that makes me think that it was third party at the time, or was it always a first party? Just to clarify.
You gotta ask.
Well, no, because
Do you know what? I'm
because
not
it's
sure.
thrown me.
I'm not sure.
That's what Wikipedia is for. You can look it up. I mean,
yeah, but it didn't really explain it. So I'm looking. So
because the only reason what I was thinking is because if originally it wasn't a first party, but now it is. That's what I mean. I was just trying to figure out if it was in a newly acquired studio, but I'm not asking any a question. Just thinking.
So the later, I can't. I don't want to give it away. If I say, do you know what? I'm gonna have to tell you because we'll be all day. When it originally released, it wasn't first party. It's not
right.
This game. Yeah, that it wasn't originally first party. I would assume.
Right.
We class it as first party now. I would assume.
Right.
Apologies
Okay.
if I fuck this up, but
No, that's fine because that just clarifies what I was thinking. Originally, it wasn't a first party.
Awkward, this shit. Who made this fucking game?
Well, if you did it right and you did your research instead of 5 seconds before we started the game,
Well, I
then
did
you'd
a
been
week
ready.
ago, and then I forgot.
Right.
Then.
So it's a newer or newish acquisition. Did he answer the FPS question? I can't remember.
No, I can answer it if you'd like.
Is it an FPS game?
No.
Right.
and it's not a racing game, obviously.
So
It has to be third person. Well, no, not necessarily. It could be something like LBP. Which it might be.
First party franchise game on a not new, but a now owned studio.
Can I ask a genre question again?
Yeah.
Was it a platformer?
Yes.
That pretty much narrows it down.
I think I know what this is.
What are you thinking, Luke? What are you thinking?
Well, I can't say because it has to be the last.
No. If we know it, we were confident on the game, we can ask the actual game any time. But if we're wrong, we're fucked.
How many questions do we have left?
You got 5.
And one of them's got to be the guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
got 4 and a guess.
Okay. Does this game, or is this game or franchise fronted by a lovable sack creature?
It might possibly be, yes.
Wait. A lovable sat creature. Oh, Jesus. I hate to see what the real answer is.
Oh, Jesus. So, well, yeah, I think we know what it is.
We know what it is,
but is it the first one? Do we need to notice? Yeah. Go on, Luke.
Okay, when was the first one released?
He's Googling. I thought we were allowed to Google. The lies.
I'm not
This
go-
game.
No,
I'm not gonna Google it. I'm just trying to think when the first game was released.
Leisure Suit Larry, I have no idea.
Well, in fact, here's a question: is it the first game in the franchise?
Yes.
And there you go. Well, it's Little Big Planet.
No. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it was given away free when they had the PlayStation hack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, good.
Yeah.
Well,
When it came out, obviously I totally forgot Media Molecule got bought by Sony, and then I've just read the Wikipedia just to check things to make sure I'm answering correctly. I'm like, fuck, they got bought out. When was that happen? So technically it is first party now, and it wasn't.
But they weren't at the time, were they? The first
No,
game.
they
was,
bought it after the first.
Yeah.
And then made it. I was going to go for Little Big Planet karting just because you'd be like, is it a driving game?
Ooh.
And you would never fucking get it. But I thought that's really mean. So I went for just standard Little Big Planet.
No, I actually owned that little Big Planet carding game. My kids played it, so I would have guessed it. I mean,
Yeah, he
No.
says.
Well,
I
what
think
we'll
that
do
gave
is,
it away though, saying it was first party when we never used to be.
yeah, that kind of
But
narrows it
it's a
down.
bit hard to say it's not. Technically, this game wasn't first party.
Yeah,
But every game after it in the series was first party. It's a bit of a dick thing to say.
yeah. It's hard trying to find that balance and not screw it. And
I did think about doing the PSP version as well, but I thought, like I say, I didn't think you'd appreciate that.
No, well, we would have eventually asked if it was a handheld on like question 19 or something.
I've got a really good idea for one based on some of the questions you've asked. I've got a really good idea for one now.
at least he didn't come up with some title that got canceled like 20 minutes before it got released. And he's like, well, it was a canceled title, and then it's like, oh Jesus, are we supposed to know that shit?
How did you not get that?
Right?
Well, the discs were printed; they just never got sold. So.
It released on the 32X, and they only sold like 60 copies. Oh my God, no!
Oh, no. Well, that's it, guys. That's it for the PSN Party Podcast, episode 17. Hope you've all enjoyed it. If you have any ideas for Video Game 20 questions, you can always DM me on Twitter. It'd be nice to get community involved, and we can pick a game that you pick. But yeah, DMs are open. Drop me a message. But other than that, that's it for this show. Luke, do you want to tell everyone where they can find you?
Yeah, sure. Thank you again for having me. Always a pleasure. And I'll just keep it short and sweet. Just go find me at Luke Steele 90 on Twitter.
Awesome. Brilliant. Ash, have we got anything upcoming this week?
We've got a pile of reviews. We've got reviews on reviews coming. We haven't got an XBL Party podcast show tomorrow. Redders is anything to have a day off, so we're not having one tomorrow because it's been a bit of a slow news week. So I may do a stream or something tomorrow. I haven't decided yet. But there'll be some content either way. But yeah, other than that, it's just lots and lots of reviews and possibly a handful of streams. It just depends. Like it's Easter holidays in it, so it depends what I'm doing over the next week or so. It depends on what I get, but. There's guaranteed a minimum of one review video a day for the next 2 weeks at the moment. So and then Saturday you've got a brand new members video that's already recorded and ready to go. So
awesome,
lucky people.
Lucky. Sentinel, have you got anything that's happening this week? Is it XBL USA this week or is that next week? Sentinel?
Sorry, headphone issues. I had to unplug it and replug it in. Computer's been retarded. My bad.
Oh, you said the word! You said the word!
Hey, at least it's at the end of our podcast, and it's not like 6 minutes in. I'm getting better. So you can edit it out. It's fine. Yeah, Redders will be like, oh, that fucking asshole. Yep. No.
I'm just going to cut it. I'll probably just cut it after I speak, and we'll just... Sentinel's dead to us.
Wow, that's messed up. Okay, so yeah, you can find me on Twitter, on Twitch, same place, SSG Sentinel. Of course, I'm on the PSN Party Podcast every single Wednesday. Normally on the XBL Party Podcast when we actually have one, and every 2 weeks there's an XBN USA podcast. So if you haven't checked it out, Thursday evenings, I think it's like at 8:30 CST, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Definitely check it out.
Awesome. Right, I'll let everyone go. All right, guys, take care. Thank you for tuning in. You can catch up on YouTube. You can keep an eye on the socials for updates on shows and reviews dropping. And again, any suggestions, anything you'd like to see us do, any questions you want to ask for either show, if any ideas, drop us messages in the YouTube comments, on Twitter. Our DMs are open. But other than that, good night, everyone, and all hail Jim Bryan.